and then he honors James Hall as well, and he
Yeah.
still honors him.
Yeah.
So, and tonight, let's honor James Hall.
Ain't that something? The professor.
The professor himself. No, he's not only, he is the Prince of Brooklyn, Professor James Hall.
Now, I've never been called the Prince, have I?
You are, no, St.
They
James
called me the Duke.
The Duke. Oh, well, excuse me.
They called me the Duke.
Yeah. Totally.
Listen here. I give everybody they props, okay? We
Talk
gonna
about
fix that.
perfect timing, St. James.
Say that again.
I said, talk about perfect timing, St. James.
The
Because
Duke
when I
of
was
Brooklyn.
in New York, I was supposed to interview James Hall because I was with Bishop Kevin Bond and Vincent Bohannon, and I think he had a dentist appointment, and because I was there on one day. One day I was there, and I went to Chicago to do some more interviews, and I was so excited. I had so many questions to ask him. So I think, God's time is always the best time. Henry Jackson in Los Angeles wrote a song, "In God's Own Time." A lot of times we try to do things in our time, but when we wait for God's own time, things work out. So I feel it's an honor to be with you, James Hall. You have blessed the world with your music, and I'm so appreciative that you didn't allow this enormous gift to lie dormant in you. You know what I mean? Because people can be mean. And it's hard to get up in front of people because people always got an opinion. But for you to have been going since '87, pumping out all this, don't make me cry.
I love to get Eric going.
I'm done. I'm done.
You're not done. You're not done.
Dude, okay, I'm done. Listen, let's take a break or something.
I tore him up already. Man, I appreciate you just coming. We're talking about just the great legacy, the great history of New York, and of course, Brooklyn dominates the gospel music scene in New York. Could you just, for those who are living under a hole and don't quite know what day it is, could you just kind of give us a short history of the beginnings of James Hall and musically?
Oh God. You're gonna make me go way, way far back.
We got time. No.
Worship and Praise has been together. Well, I didn't start at Worship and Praise. I started as Master James Hall, and I was the little soloist that traveled around with my mom here in Brooklyn, New York. I'm in New Jersey now, but she would take me from church to church to church to church, singing "Just a Closer Walk with Thee," and that kind of stuff. And I was like, my mother also was the president of the gospel chorus, so going to all the gospel chorus anniversaries all in Brooklyn. And then she would take me down to the little sanctified churches down on, I can't think of the street. It's been a long day. But they had a whole bunch of Fulton Street. And they had all these storefront churches. We would church hop all day. My mom passed when I was 12, and I was well into my classical training, and my siblings weren't like my mom, who my mom was pushing me all the way through with my classical training. And so when I got my siblings were kind of like, they didn't force me to do it anymore. So I was like, you don't have to do it. I was like, I don't have to do it. I left it. So I left my classical alone, and then I started in James Madison High School. I started the gospel choir there. It was a predominantly white school. And the only thing we were doing there was playing football. And of course, I didn't know how to play football. So I started the gospel chorus there, and it was a big deal. And, we did it, until I graduated. When I graduated, we had such a good time. We was like, yo, let's keep it going. And I was like, why not? Oh, I'm fading out. Okay. And then That's how Worship and Praise started from my high school choir.
Wow. Wow.
And here we are now. I think this is year 36.
You just had an anniversary?
Yeah, it would have been 36 years. So my appreciation service is not my anniversary.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So they do my appreciation service every year. And since we're much older, Worship and Praise don't have anniversaries every year.
Right.
But our anniversary, we kind of like tied it into my appreciation service, more or less. But our anniversary used to fall in April, I think. I think it was April. So now we do it, at the end of the year.
So, a lot of people, we have our own perspective on your sound. I think it's a great question to get your perspective of your sound. Like, how do you describe your sound?
Well, I was raised in a house where my father played jazz music all the time. And with that being said, now mind you, I hated it when I didn't even understand it. I didn't understand. I used to see my father. I mean, he would play it all night. He would be singing to music that I didn't know. There were no lyrics as far as I knew. I was like, how does he know the lyrics? Let me tell you how life changes you, because now I do the same thing. Because I grew up listening to so much jazz where I knew the words. I'm in my car and they don't have to have the lyrics no more because I know the songs from growing up. So I like turned into my father. So I'm in the car singing these songs, and if somebody else is in the car that don't know jazz, they're gonna be like, how do you know the words? It's amazing how life comes full circle.
And that's exactly how you have just incorporated this whole jazz gospel sound.
Yeah, I grew up listening to jazz, man. My father was a jazz organist, and I didn't understand his playing because it wasn't what I was used to hearing in church. So he used to be getting on the organ, and I used to be going, my dad is horrible.
What was your name? What was your father's name?
Excuse me?
What was your father's name?
James.
So you
I'm a junior.
Okay.
I don't use it, so don't use it.
Don't start using it, huh?
Don't push it.
Don't start.
So when you recorded the album in '93, at that time, was you used to training your choir with this this jazzy sound? Were you used to training your choir like that, and were you scared to present that to the congregation, being that it's a bit different than traditional gospel music?
I wouldn't say I was ever scared.
Okay.
So the worship and praise really came about because I started the gospel course in school, and when we were graduating, my friends were like, "What are we going to do now?" And I was like, "Well, let's keep it going." So we might have met once or twice as the school choir, and I was like, of course, those people fell off because they were not church kids, but the church kids, we stayed together, and then we started taking little gigs, and I don't really remember when did we come up with James Hall Worship and Praise. I think we just came up with that after. Well, it wasn't James Hall. It was just Worship and Praise in the beginning. Wow. But then, like my assistant director, he fell out. It was kids, so we were kids. So they were like, after we did a few rehearsals, they was like, yeah, I'm good with this, But I have my true blues that stayed. There's a young lady named Marlene Lee. She was we used to hang out all day. We used to go out and eat every day. She is she's still in Worship and Praise. So she's my original singer for Worship and Praise, from that day. Because she was also in my high school.
Wow.
The industry and people deem you and Worship and Praise as the vibrato capital of gospel music. Where did that whole vibrato sound come from?
Well, it's really hard to say because honestly, I think I had a heavy vibrato when I would teach. So what happened is how I teach was how they sing.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's but then we were kind of like ridiculed a little bit, and we started like
Okay.
we were ridiculed for how we and all that stuff, and how my music was too jazzy and and all those things. But guess what? Everybody started copying it, and then that happened.
At one time, you told me, as I can remember, you said all these little James Holes are running around New York.
Yeah, it was. They talked about it. They talked about us, and they talked about, and then we wanted to do it was a fashion thing. We made a fashion statement.
Yeah, we definitely did that.
We and we still do that.
Yeah. They look amazing at your appreciation. I just got to tell you, they held.
And this is probably like, I don't know what generation this is,
right?
But because we have several. Now I have some people in the choir that are still from Generation 1, like Trinice. Everybody knows Trinice. Trinice is from Generation 1, and maybe it's like 3 others, but they weren't at my thing this year. But we've been doing this a long time. But now, and they talked about us.
Well,
like, where were they going? Where they going dressed like
right?
That?
Why
they have all that on? You're not supposed to sing in hats.
Right? Why do women got hats on the pulpit in the choir?
That's right. You're not supposed to do that. Now, go like this.
They just
you see it everywhere.
I mean, that's who you are, though. You're the innovator. You're the creator of it.
I take it as a compliment.
Yeah,
I take it as a compliment. I don't take it like, oh no, because at the end of the day, and this is not to be shady or anything, no one will ever outdo the person that created it.
That is correct, regardless of how you do it.
Yeah, how you do it is. You'll find when you like. I've watched people and I'll be like, wow, where'd they get that from? Then they'll say, oh, my mentor was so and so, and I'll be like, okay. And then I go look. I say, oh, there it is. I see it.
Yeah,
you can see it.
Yeah, amazing.
And I'm grateful. I'm honored when I see people doing what we do. I'm like, wow, look at this all the way over here. We all the way over here in this city, and this is what they're doing.
I remember when I first saw a choir dressing up like worship and praise, and I'm like, oh, y'all were just talking about that. But
they talked about us when we came. They said, oh, they up there singing in hats, because that was a no. That was a no. You couldn't sing in hats and stuff.
Right. Ooh, man. Amazing.
It didn't stop us from getting engagements. And now we go play. Let me tell you something. When they say James Hall is coming to a city, it's like, they be like, oh, we got to get our outfits.
They got to dress up. Yeah. You don't just walk in there.
We got to get
dressed up.
I went to, oh God, what city was that? They had James Hall Day. They wanted me to come. I was looking around. I said, wow. And it was like somewhere in Mississippi, and they were dressed all the way up.
And they don't do that in Mississippi.
In Mississippi. That's why I had to tell y'all Mississippi were doing this.
Wow.
And I mean, they did it very well. I was like, they was coming out. I was like, oh, wait a minute. They must have got some of these outfits from New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
They called the people in from New York to help them. Because they look great. I mean, but I'm just saying, these are things that I was ridiculed for in the beginning.
Sounds so similar to Thomas Dorsey.
Yeah.
Of gospel music.
Oh yeah. So
similar.
They talk about
it repeats itself.
Yeah, it really does. They said they up there singing in them hats. They wearing those outfits. Now it's all over. Everybody's doing it.
What do you think about the Jacqueline asked the question earlier that's in the chat. What do you think about the state of gospel music? Now, I know it's kind of a cliche type of question, but I really want to get your opinion. What do you think where gospel music is now? Even, let's just say New York gospel music. What do you think?
Well, New York is different from, I feel like, everybody else.
It is.
One thing about New York is we are still going to keep it churchy.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
We're gonna keep it churchy, and we still gonna put on our clothes in New York. You know, other places, you know, is not about what you wear. But I'll say this again. We did a concert. I don't want to say the city because I want nobody to think I'm coming for their city.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they brought me down to do World Worship Praise to a city, and I got there, and I was like telling my people, they was like, "We gonna be dressed up down there?" I was like, "Well, that's what we do." And they was like, okay. We got there. Can you still hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So what do I get there to? They were all dressed up there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. James Hall is coming to town. Like Santa Claus is coming.
That's just what they must have said.
There's an
I was telling my
expectation.
choir members, I said, see, y'all wanted to change and dress down because we was coming here, but they dressed up. And that's how it should be. People should come up to your level.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
St. James, I think that we got to talk about that first album, though. Like Garbage Control, The Storm, all those songs. So, like, when you knew you were going to record the album, like, how did you come up with the song selections? I know you wrote some of them, but like, how did?
Yeah, well, I can't explain it because we had singing original tunes like almost from the beginning.
Because you got that from Institutional, right? You do your own music.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like Institutional, we sung our own stuff. So I was raised hearing original material from Professor Butch Haywood, J.C. White, Alfred White. Those were the writers. And now Butch Haywood was just like, when I first walked to the institution, I was, I think, 11. And I didn't, I came from my little Baptist church where I thought we were really having a good time. Because that's all I knew.
Until
I came to institutional, and I was like, wait a minute. First of all, when I saw the fashion, I was like, now, wait a minute.
You like that? Yeah.
I was like, but I'm telling you, but I'm talking about an 11-year-old, And I was like, wow. I was like, wow. The main thing that stuck out to me was the organ. Because the organ was the main instrument, So and at that season we had two Leslies in the old church. They had the two Leslies, So the organ, when it played, it was like rumbling in the building. Yeah, right. So I was just like looking over there. I was like, is there a bass player over there? So a lot of what I do, it kind of started like from going to institutional because I was just amazed at how different that was from what I was raised around. And then I went back, I was like I guess like a little missionary. I was always a little leader because I came back to my church and I told my friends, I said, we doing things wrong over here.
We got to get it together.
And they were like, what? I was like, yeah, the way we dress, the way we shout, the way we sing, I was like a little leader, and they was like, well, and I was like telling them, I was like, they were shouting like this, and they were singing like this, And so, that stuff it's amazing how as a little kid, you have like visions of, And then when I got to high school, it just blossomed, from that. Wow. I never thought I would be doing this like forever.
What was the first time you heard somebody sing how did you feel when you first heard somebody sing a song, like a choir singing a song that was recorded?
I think probably the first time, because I was young, I think I was like, why are they singing my hoop?
Don't be singing my song.
Sing my song. But now I'm honored. It's an honor. Now you talking about the time when I didn't even have no records, people were singing my songs. So that was different. Now that my song is on, anybody can sing it. But when I first time heard somebody sing my song, they singing our songs. Like what? But it's now like it's amazing. Like I had a company that came here from, oh God, where were they from? Jesus help me. Lord, I'm acting a fool right now. They came from, oh Lord, I can't remember. I felt so bad. I hope none of them are seeing this right now. But There was an aggregation that came from very far here. They were different from us. And they came here and they came with their outfits. And they said they wanted to do, you know, it was like I was like they like set it up that we're coming and we're doing a workshop with you. And that's just that, you know. I was like, oh wow. But they didn't look like us, you know, they were different. Yeah. And so it was an honor. It was an honor to me, you know. They came very far and they was like, we want to do a workshop with you. And I was like, let's do it. You know, they came to Citadel. We did it at Citadel, and I brought them out here to New Jersey and did a workshop with them at New Hope. And then we had a concert in the whole nine. And it was like, next year you come there to us.
Could you imagine all of this in high school, like with that group that you had in high school? Could you imagine that gospel music was this vast, like around the world? Like, did you?
No. I didn't see that far. It wasn't. I think I started seeing how it was getting bigger, like by my anniversaries. You know, my first anniversary. If I pull that tape, you'd be like, "No, that ain't y'all." You know, you know, and it was for us. It was a pretty big church. Yeah. You know, and it was filled up. You know, it was filled up. So that was, you know, like our first anniversary. And then, you know, the next anniversary, you know, every year it got bigger and bigger. And then the year that I did God Is in Control.
Who wrote that song?
James Hall.
James, you wrote that song?
James Hall. And let me tell you something. I tell everybody the same testimony. When I wrote that song, we were coming home from church, me and my friends, and they would come over my house after service, and we were sitting. They're like, you know, I'd be like, I wrote a song. I want y'all to hear it. And I, you know, sung, you know, God Is in Control to them, and they fell out laughing. They was like, James, you gotta be kidding me. This song is so dumb. This song is so silly. I said, They was like, what are we just gonna keep saying God Is in Control over and over? I was like, yeah. They was like, man, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And I was discouraged when they left, but I said, I'm gonna do this for our first anniversary. And we did that song that night. It was like a bomb drop. Well, it wasn't our first anniversary, it was our second anniversary. It was like a bomb dropped in that place.
How did Ricky get a hold of it?
What do you mean? How did he get? He heard it and he just sung it.
Like
he heard it and he recorded it.
Okay. And you was okay with that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, me and Ricky are friends now.
You behave over here at the St. James. I'm just. No, he didn't know.
I mean this in the greatest way, you know, because a lot of people, because it's a great song, and both interpretations of the songs are great, you know, and you would wonder, like, because they came out so close together, you know.
Exactly. So me and Ricky are friends now, but that we had a wedge. We had a wedge there because he called and he was like, James, I want to do your song tonight. God is coming. And I was like, well, you could do it. I said, but don't record it, because I said, mine's is still out. And he was like, he said, well, you still, you know, Ricky was crazy. Ricky was like, you gonna still get the money? You gonna still get the money? I was like, no, I don't want two of them out there.
Right.
And he did it anyway.
Wow.
And I was mad at Ricky for a little while.
Wow. Never knew that. I didn't even know it was. I just, you know, just heard both songs. I never.
That was quite the talk of the gospel music industry.
Yeah, it was really big. But you know what? I'm so glad that we were both saved, and we were able to. I'll never forget, because I was younger and I didn't have the same faith I had now. So I was a piece of work, and we as God let us come do a concert together in California. They brought Worship and Praise and Ricky Dillard to California. And I was not happy about being on the program with Ricky, because I was still mad at Ricky.
Wow.
But Ricky Ricky was the bigger man. He got up on that stage that night and apologized to me for the whole thing, and we squashed it.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for that song. That song is a blessing to so many people, man.
Yeah, God did that. I mean, like I said, my friends laughed at it. I was telling them how it's gonna go. They was like, "This song is stupid." I was like saying, "God is in control." They said, "We're gonna just keep saying God is in control like that." I was like, "Yeah." They was like, "It's not gonna work." I was like,
now you even have young choirs now, even
I'm
loving to sing.
amazed that I seen a choir. I was like, generations. I mean, God is in control. That's a long time ago. That was, I don't do dates, but it was a long time ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah.
That was a long time. That was our first hit.
Yeah.
My first hit.
And you had a lot of hits with Melvin Crispell, huh?
Yes. That was, there was no, so we grew up together. And when we started worshiping praise, Melvin came and was the drummer.
Wow.
He was playing the drums because I didn't have a drummer. And one rehearsal, we was getting out of rehearsal, and I said, "Melvin," I said, "You don't write no songs?" He was like, "No, I've never written a song." I was like, "Why? How?" I said, like, "I don't know. I haven't written no song." I was like, "Wow." So he left rehearsal that week. The next week he came back and said, "James, I wrote a song."
Wow.
And it was a good song. And matter of fact, I paid tribute to that song when he passed away. We did it on that next project because that was the first song he wrote for the choir. But that was a match made in heaven, man. Me and Melvin.
What was the first song? The song he wrote for the choir?
You're Worthy.
You're Worthy. Okay.
And I think we did it on. My mind is horrible. We did it on the project after he passed.
Yeah, I think you did I don't know, I think I read it. It was an article. I don't remember where I read it. I think you did an interview, and I liked your thinking. Like, you worked with him for so many years, but you knew that it wasn't the end of your assignment. So you had to get past all of the hurt. Well, not get past it, but you had to work through the hurt. And that's when you had did that. What was it? The Jesus is Lord, Jesus is King.
King.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
So now I didn't write that song. Okay. A friend of mine wrote that song for me, and he sent it to me, and I was like, "This is not me. This is not something I would do." And he was like, just pray on it, listen to it. And I was like, his name is Zeke. I was like, "Zeke, it's just stop me." And then I started sending it around to my friends. I was like, "What y'all think about this?" They was like, "Yeah, that ain't you. That ain't you." And I was like, and so I sent it to Troy. I think that was when Troy was with me. I said, "Troy, what do you think about it?" He's like, it's doable. He was the only one that kind of agreed with it. And I was like, "Well, let's see." And that was totally different for me.
It's really weird because the first time I heard that, I was just like, I love this song. And then Sean Tillery comes in on it, and I'm like,
yes,
this is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that was like, it was like a fluke because when it was sent to me, I was going, so the other thing with that is I was never one for taking submissions for songs. But this young guy, he took a chance with me and was like, send me the song. I was like, I don't really accept song submissions. But, it was like I let really a popular person, I'm not going to say their name on here, but I let them hear it. They was like, "Nah, man, don't do it. That ain't you." And I was like, "I know, right?" And I was going to trash it because they said that. But then I let, some other friends, they said, "It's a challenge." They said, "Try it."
And we have to be kind of cognizant of that because we're so used to hearing something from it's like when we hear Karen Clark, we want to hear her voice in a certain type of song.
That's right. That's
so
right.
If it goes awry, we're going, "Oh, that's not it." But we have to really step out of that and say, "No, let me go ahead and try this." And I'm glad you did that.
That's true. Yeah, I'm glad I did it too. And it made me think, for the future, how I handle stuff. But when even when I was teaching it to the choir, they was looking at me like, Wow. But that thing came together and was like a hit.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're getting the chance to hear different sides of you because, like the cover, that single, did the album come out yet?
No.
Okay, like the first time I heard that song, I went crazy
Which
on that
song? Which one?
cover. I say
Oh.
cover. Now, so it was, I think it's Brian. Some choir I heard singing. They had Jam for the Lamb on that song. Then all of a sudden, you got a single coming out. You doing a cover. I'm like, oh my god. You know what I mean? And then I just like the way that you put your own spin to it because that's not the way I heard it.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
So I think that it's great that we're getting the chance to see how.
Yeah, if anybody, send me music, actually, I just started maybe whenever I did my last project. I had never taken music from anybody but me and Melvin or Butch Haywood. That was that's my foundation. So I never took song. Or they talk about the mystery of godliness. Somebody's talking about that down there.
Yeah, that's an amazing. Yeah. That song like takes you to another level. That's what I'm saying. It's that James Hall stuff that.
And I don't know what I was thinking when I can't even explain because that song took weeks to put together. It took weeks. It was like God had given me a project, but He wouldn't give it to me like I didn't get that song all in one night. I got one part, and I came and taught that part to the choir. And they was like, what's the rest? I was like, y'all find out next week. I don't know what the next is. And that's just how it went. The hymn medley. That I didn't give them the hymn medley all at once.
But that hymn medley is wonderful. It's a masterpiece. I love it.
That just came together week by week. That's when we used to have rehearsal every week. Nobody's having, well, I don't know, church choirs are, but we don't have rehearsal every week no more.
But this is a good question too. Okay, so for the church choir, is a lot the ideal music for a church choir is easy music, right? But your music is complex, but it's complex in a great way. You know what I mean? Like we were just talking earlier. Like I literally listen to your music as an anthem. I listen to hear the techniques. So like, how do you feel that you make such like this music isn't easy to really teach? So is that really like? Are you okay with that? Because a lot of people, they be like, oh,
we had this discussion before you came on. I said, your music, you have to know how to sing to do James Hall music. It's not for the Sunshine Band. It's not for the, the pastor's choir, elderly choir. It's for singers.
I mean, that's it. But I hear that, and then I get people that say to me, if it wasn't for you, I would have never pushed my choir.
Wow. Okay.
So it works. It works another way, as some people don't want the challenge.
Right.
So
for John McCoy in Chicago, I mean, he absolutely adores you.
Oh yeah. They do my stuff. They do my stuff, and I appreciate it. As I love to hear people sing my stuff. I hate when they sing it wrong. I love to hear, it's a compliment when you do it. And I've had people sing my stuff and put a twist on it. I love that too. If it's a good twist,
Yeah.
But it's never ever going to be better than the original. That's what anybody you take music from, or even if you do a spin on it, it might be good, but like the original always stands out.
Yeah. So your project that you most recently recorded, do we have a time when that's going to be coming out?
That should be out the first quarter of next year.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I mean, that has been long awaiting.
Yeah.
I mean, people have, because we did that session. I don't want to say, I want to say it's 2 years.
It was right after it opened up, the pandemic opened up.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah. So we did that in DC, but we had so many challenges. That's why I don't know what God is going to do with that project, because I have never had so many challenges with a project. But it's like 23 tracks on that project.
Wow.
It's a lot. It's called New Era of the Old Time Way. So what that project is, I took some things from the old church that this generation know nothing about, and I wanted to you know, like reintroduce it to this generation, because some people don't know about a doxology, they don't know about prayer of comfort, stuff like that. So that's why I call it, the title is like showing how we got to where we are. So of course I start with a hymn, I end with a doxology. It's like a homework. It's like a study class.
And it's gonna go #1 as usual.
I pray it does.
The anticipation.
It's really going to help. I know older people are going to be like, now, of course, a lot of stuff is old, but I James Hall it, but it's still familiar.
Yeah.
So I know, like, I let like some of my older friends, my seasoned friends, hear some of the stuff they were working. They was like, "Oh no, you didn't." They was like, "Oh, I haven't heard that since I was in the, this church or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, I wanted to introduce that to this generation that don't know anything about, hymn of comfort." And
tell me something. You have been. Are you the minister of music, or are you just playing a musician's role at the church that you're at in New Hope?
Oh yeah, the New Hope Baptist Church. I'm at the world famous Whitney Houston and Cissy Houston Church.
Yeah.
So I came in there with a very high standard that I had to follow with.
But I love it because I love when you post certain things, because it's like I didn't know I knew about the church, but I never knew what the church sound was over there.
Right.
But I can appreciate. Do you think that had something to do with your release of the anthems of this? Because they're they were a hot Baptist church, right?
And because New Hope is a gospel church.
Okay.
I thought they would be a hymn church.
See, that's me too. That's what I thought.
They were not.
Oh.
They were not. When I got there, I was like, I came prepared to do that. And they was like, "No, we're not really that church." And I was like, "Really?" So it was shocking. They were not like that church. So I just came, and Cissy Houston was still there, and she gave me a fit. But
did she give you a fit? Come on, what she say?
She gave me a fit. But let me tell you something. I mean, I love, because it didn't bother me because I know about divas. I've been around them all my life, so I understood. She was looking like I don't know who this young guy is coming over here.
Don't let him in my church.
That's how she was. She was looking like, I'm not feeling it. And
wow.
I was like, and everybody was like apologizing for it. I was like, no, because I got a kick out of it.
If Whitney went through it, you can go through it.
I was like, I'm fine with it. But and then it took a little, maybe, I don't know, it may have took a month before we was able to be like mother and son. Wow. It might have took a month, but I mean, she's laying it on thick when I got there. I said, but I loved every bit of that kind of character.
But when you say that, what was her main gripe? What was the issue?
I really don't know. I think the issue was they didn't have a minister of music for so long before I came. Mm-hmm. So I think that she thought maybe, hey, they're going to bring me back. She had retired some years ago.
Because she was the minister of music there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she thought that it was her time to come back, and then I showed up.
Oh, bless her heart. Oh.
She's 90, right?
Huh?
She's 90 something, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And she's gonna come back like actively
and have a seat.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He was coming back, and so I understand. I get it. We all gonna get to that age where we're gonna think like that. But it was. I can't display everything that I went through in the beginning, but I got
you can. It's okay.
No, I can't. But I'm a comical person.
Yeah, yeah. So you just kind of took it with it, like, okay.
I took it and I laughed every night because I was like, wow. Because I was like, I had heard, people that had worked in Broadway with her, they had already gave me like, you're gonna deal with this. But to see it in person,
it was
but
another level.
I came ready for the challenge. I never let up on her. I would come in and be like, hi. She'd be like,
in her first.
mean, she gave me a hard way. She gave me a hard way to go. But I loved it. I got a kick out of it. They would invite me out to eat, and I tell her that I'm coming. And she was what she was doing was hilarious to me. I would come and she'd go, oh. I would be like, I was dying laughing at it.
Oh.
I thought that character was amazing to me.
That character.
That's black church behavior anyway.
Right. I grew up around that. So I really wasn't, it really didn't bother me. I was just like, what do I have to do? I don't get what I have to do, but God gave me what to do. And I invited her to a choir rehearsal. And I told her, I let her sing with the choir.
I'm gonna say, sometimes you just gotta give them the mic and say, sing us one of your old songs, mother.
Yeah.
And just take it from there.
And after that night, she switched. I get it. She had retired before I got there.
Years ago.
So I don't know, but I think that little season that they didn't have me, but she was like, oh wow, here we go. I'm getting back in the game. And then I showed up and she was like, man, who is this? But we really it became really a wonderful relationship. And I'm grateful that I got, because she's an icon.
Yeah.
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 And I get it.
You handle it.
Once you're an icon, you're always gonna be an icon.
Yeah.
And no matter what people think, so but I got a kick out of it. The stuff that she was doing, I felt like should have been in a movie that she was doing. I was like, I would come home, like some people probably would have been upset and said, I come home, I would be laughing. I said, did you see how she looked at me and said, oh my God, she did so many funny things.
So you're just up there playing and singing away.
She would be one of my favorite things that she used to do when I first got there is because she don't sit in the front. She sits like in the back, like in row 14 on the end. And I would be playing and she would lean out and I would look her way she go. And I would die. I thought it was I was not hurt, angry. I got a kick out of her every time.
Did you hit a high note and look at her just for the hell of it?
Oh yes. She would roll her eyes. She didn't enjoy it. I don't know if she really didn't enjoy it, but she was gonna let me know she was not enjoying it.
If she enjoyed it, she was gonna let you know she wasn't enjoying it.
She wasn't gonna let me know she enjoyed it. But my pastor, my boss was like, maybe you just need to, invite her to come out to a rehearsal. And I said, I don't have a problem with that. Yes. And that's it. That was it.
Wow.
I felt like she had got faded out, and it was never that. Her season had,
It had just passed, and a lot of them, when you think about that, I mean, no more Whitney, no more. She doesn't have that stage that she was used to for so long, and we have another person with all this talent. And they're generally very upset when they know the person is gifted and talented and anointed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they.
I understand. And you got to understand, this was my first time actually meeting her when I got here. So it was like I was expecting a warm welcome.
No, it was quite cold.
Quite cold. But you know what? I grew up in the institutional Church of God in Christ. There were several Sister Houstons there. And that's what I told my boss, my pastor. I told him, I said, he used to be after it was over, he'd be like, I was like, nah. I said, I'm used to this.
Yeah.
My church, we had. I mean, our soloists were stars.
Right.
They would come out the choir stand and take off those robes and put on their outfits to go get dressed up to go home. That's what I came up on. You know?
I remember Vincent Bohannon. I interviewed him, and he was
he knows.
He was like, it was a show every Sunday.
It was a fashion show.
Yeah,
and they were and coming up, I was a fan of my church choir, like this older choir, because they were celebrities, and I would be waiting when they come up the aisle, like speak, and they would walk right by, don't speak. And guess what? I was like, okay, that's okay. You know, that's somebody. You know, I love them just the same. I never felt.
Oh, that is hilarious to me. Oh,
I came from a different school, so I wasn't hurt by, and I got a kick out of all of that because I thought, and people say I'm a character. I said, well, what I come from is characters.
Right.
I've been around characters all my life. I have seen them all,
and I love it because
I had divas and divos around me all of my life.
I love it because you have created a whole choir of them, and it's very entertaining to me.
Definitely.
It's beautiful. I love it.
It really is. It really is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Truly.
Oh my goodness.
So
what? Okay, so knowing your sound, like who's another gospel artist sound that you admire that you wouldn't mind actually working with before it's all said and done, like to collaborate two different, your sound and the sound that you appreciate?
That's a good question. I never really thought about working with someone. You said gospel, right?
Yeah, I want gospel. Well, you can talk about secular, but I do want you to answer gospel because I want to hear what's in your head, like, because your sound, you have your signature sound, but like whoever you appreciate, the sound that you like how is that sound to like bring it together, to blend it?
I don't know. I mean, see, like I like people like just like a freak of nature, like Kim Burrell. Like I could work with. I know. Well, we have already done something like
somebody said
we were brought in to do something for somebody else, but it wasn't like we were working together.
But you know what? I think that's too easy for you.
It's too easy, right?
Yeah, because she's very jazzy, and you two can just work that thing. I think
it would be just like flowers.
Yeah. I think Eric is talking about like something that would just be like.
But you said gospel, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember. You remember this guy named Kevin Davidson in The Voices?
I remember.
Yes.
Where
were they from?
From Memphis. They're from
Memphis. Okay,
I think that because a lot of his music, there are a lot of workshop songs, like redundant lyrics, but he has this Memphis sound. It's a churchy sound. It's a southern sound, and I'm trying to see that would probably be an interesting sound to collab with in jazz. Because Memphis is blues, so because blues and jazz actually met in the 20s, and that's why jazz went to New York and blues stayed in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
So I would think that would probably be interesting. But when you think of it, you just let us know.
I would have loved to see an Edwin Hawkins and James Hall collaboration.
Let me tell you something now. Our relationship was so amazing. God had allowed me to meet those brothers. Was like a dream, and like it was like we hit it off like that.
Yeah.
It was like that. I don't remember I don't remember how we got to their church. Oh no, I remember maybe I don't know what CD that was, but we was doing a CD tour, and we came to California. We were not supposed to be at their church, but somebody came to. I think it might have been Sam Franklin, who came to the concert that Saturday night and was like, "Y'all need to come
to Love Center."
I need to come to Love Center, and I was like, "The Hawkins Church." But we went, and it was like, I mean, that connection happened. It was so strong, our connection.
That's because Edwin and Walter and they're genuine people. They were genuine
Yeah.
people.
Oh my God, it was unbelievable. I knew I had arrived when I did my recording at Foxwoods. And we was in the band room rehearsing. Somebody knocked on. I was like, who would be knocking on the door? You know, I was on fire because we was tense. We're trying to lock and stuff. Open the door. It was Walton Edwin. I was like, Melvin looked at me and was like, what is happening? I was like,
wow.
What are y'all doing here? And they said, we came to check on our little brothers. Who can say that has happened to them?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
We're talking about that. We weren't around the corner. We was up in Foxwoods.
Right.
Yeah.
And they came. I brag that all the time. I say, have you ever had Walton Evans from New York?
They come from Oakland.
Have that ever happened? I don't know. I mean, and God had allowed me to build such a great relationship with both of them before they left here that, you know, I can never match that with anything.
Well, James, you know, a lot of times people are in history because they lived, right? Mm-hmm. But then you also have other people that are in history because they impact history. James, you're impacting history.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I realize it like when I travel like to a whole nother part of the world and I hear them going, I'd be like, wow. You know? So it's like really, you know, it's something. Yeah. I'm amazed because, you know, it was just something I enjoyed doing. You know, I never thought it would be a career or it would be, you know, such a life-changing movement, you know. I'm grateful for it, really. I'm grateful every day.
Oh, by the way, I want to let you know, you came out here to Phoenix. I'm native of Chicago. I might as well. Okay, I'm happy. I've been here for a while, but I don't know if you remember, you came out. That was the most exciting that I had since I've been here. I can explain this to you now because listen, when the city knew that you were coming to Phoenix, because we don't really get a lot of gospel artists.
Right. Well, they said that when I came.
Yeah, listen, you were the talk around, like people wanted to see you. Like you were at Pilgrim, that's the largest church here in
right.
You were there that Sunday morning and then you went to the concert that evening, you had a workshop. But listen, I just want to let you know, because a lot of times, you know, you travel, you don't get a chance to hear all of. But listen, the community loved you. They loved you.
I feel it. And one of my best friends moved to Phoenix, and I told him, I said, we coming back there soon. I think.
Oh, James Greer?
Huh?
Who you talking about, James Greer?
No, he's not a church person.
Okay.
He was just from New York, and he moved down here. And I told him, I said, we're gonna be coming back because I think we have something coming up the top of the year there in Phoenix.
Really? Okay.
I'm sure they haven't promoted it yet because there has not been any business done yet.
Okay.
So, you know.
Oh, he ain't coming yet, Phoenix. Get it together.
Yeah. Once the business is done, we'll lock it in. But it looks like it's going to happen. It's just, you know, once we get that business done, we're going to lock it in and they'll start promoting it.
Oh, I'm in so I know it's probably the pop-up concert. It's probably Christian. Yeah, I know that's the only one that's doing something out here.
Yeah, so I'm excited about, because like I said, my best friend moved down there, and I was like, "We coming down there?" I said, "He's like, when?" He says, "Nothing happening here." That's what he says. He says, like, no concerts, nothing here.
You'll love the weather though.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because let me tell you, it's freezing here. But I love the cold weather because I love fur.
Okay.
We know you love that fur, boy.
I'm looking at my animals right there. I don't
Yeah.
hang them up. I don't even hang them up. You know, I lay them on. They have a whole chair.
Mm, mm, mm. Do you put them in storage?
Oh, I have to. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
When that season comes, I get them all together and say, "Y'all going to your other house."
James
That's how
Hall, and I know one thing also, you love to eat some good food.
I am a foodie.
Yes.
I really have. People tell me all the time, you really haven't tapped into all you could be doing. I'm like, what are you talking about? They said the people we watch what you eat. I eat what you eat. I'm going to restaurants. They said I got to start a food blog, and I'm like,
Yeah, you should. You should.
everybody tell me that.
Yeah.
Well,
They
I
said,
just sent you.
I have friends that be saying, James, I lived on that street for 10 years, didn't know that restaurant was around the corner.
Didn't even know. Because when you posted, you make the food look so good. Looks so good. I just sent you your meal for this weekend. So go to dinner on
thank you.
me.
Hallelujah.
And everyone, if you would like to be a blessing, we just had an anniversary for the Duke, Professor James Hall, this past weekend or weekend before. So if you want to be a blessing to Professor Hall,
That ain't happening.
It might be in the
not
future.
jumping that gun. There it is.
Boom. That's not happening.
James Hall, WAP. James Hall, WAP. No, it ain't Cardi B. It's the original worship and praise. James Hall, WAP.
Worship and praise. That's what that stands for. Hello.
So be a blessing. And I promised, James, that I wouldn't keep you all night long because I know.
Well, I want to say one funny thing about the WAP thing. When that stuff was going on, it was really crazy because of that. All the hype about that. Do you know my sales had went up too because they would when they went to look for that, my name came up. Look at God.
Look at God. He'll work it out every time.
Won't he do it?
He
Won't
said
he will.
Won't he will.
I'm telling you, because I was like, oh no, how's this gonna work out for me? Because that was something.
Yeah, it was. That
was something, but then it flipped because I went to my sales had went up as well because I guess people was like, wait a minute, so what exactly is this? You know?
Yeah. Let me listen to this. Is this the real WAP? What's this? Yeah, what?
And I was trying to reach Cardi, but I couldn't reach her.
Okay, well maybe she'll
I wanted to make some kind of connection.
Yeah.
Make it work for both of us.
Before we get out of here, what do you think about the newest addition? I think to gospel music out of Brooklyn that's pretty notable, Vincent.
Oh, go ahead. I don't want to be no old man and be like Vincent is my son, but I guess he's like my little brother. But we came from the same church,
right?
And our roots are just about the same. I would say, of course, my roots are older, but yeah, it's like watching him. I'm like amazed, and like when Vincent started out. I would need him on the phone to like tell me what his thoughts are. He used to be like, oh, he used to get so drained with me because I would call him and say, Vincent, don't do that again. Do it this way. And he'd be like, he was so sick of me. But that is my little brother. I love him so much. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah. He's amazing, and I like the fact that he is just taking what he's learned and how he was raised and all the mentors.
He's still pushing out church music. Yeah. A lot of the next generation behind me, they don't understand that church sound. Vince has it.
Yeah,
and he still have a church.
Yeah,
young people go wherever they go. They're going to have church.
Yes, they will.
And, and I'm so proud of him. So proud of him.
Thank you so much. The Duke of Brooklyn, the maestro, the jazzy.
Thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate you coming. I know Eric does. Do you want to last words, Eric?
Man, I mean, I think I've said everything, the sentiments of my heart. I don't know. I guess I'm just looking forward to see all that, the next thing that God has for you.
Yeah, man. London City's gonna come out the first quarter. Y'all gonna you definitely gonna get some out of it because I'm going back. Anybody that been in church for some time, they're gonna be like, no, he didn't. I pulled out some stuff. I mean, James hauled it up, but it's gonna be familiar to people that was in church for some time.
Right.
Because I wanted to, it's like a history lesson. I want to make sure this generation understand what we were doing in church before, we had praise teams and stuff like that.
You must not do Pressing My Way.
Pressing My Way? What song is that? What Pressing My Way you talking about?
Eric, feel like pressing my way.
Oh, no. That's not far enough. I went far back.
Just wait for the CD.
Okay, I'll wait.
When I say I went back, I gave it's history.
Okay.
I'm talking about, and really when I say history, I'm talking about really, because my roots is Baptist. So in the Baptist church, we did a lot of things that, was like a standard for churches.
Yes. And they do a lot of anthems in Baptist too.
Anthems. We had doxology. We had the prayer of comfort. We had the offertory song. And this generation knows nothing about it.
Oh, wow.
So I brought all that stuff in there so they could understand what was happening before they got here.
So when me and Eric show up at your CD release, don't act funny with us. Get us a good seat, all right?
I want just let me know you're coming.
I'll let you know.
Let me know coming because I'll be like, who? Down there?
Oh no, they. Thank you so much, Professor James Hall.
Thanks for having me, man. This was great. I was just watching TV, my Christmas shows. I'm all in the holiday seasons,
So you're like a Lifetime, those shows, those Christmas.
Well, those are kind of all of those are the same.
Right. Same plot.
Boy meets girl. They is the same thing. No, I'm watching AMC, so they showing like the old Christmas movies.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I become a big kid. My mom been gone for so many years, but Christmas was such a big time for my family.
Wow.
So I have those memories that never die.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, of course I have my little mushy moments where but it's like I enjoy all of it.
Yeah, but the important part about that is to create new memories.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Thank you so much, and happy
Thanks for
holidays.
Having me. I appreciate it.
We love you.
For all y'all that have sent me something, I appreciate it as well. Thank you.
Yeah, make sure you send him some little some cash apps, you guys. We just love you. We appreciate you. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, Eric, see, if you stick around for a while, I can